In this video we're gonna make realistic scenes within seconds in Blender. First I'll tell you the steps we're gonna make in this video. First off, we're gonna get micro displacement with a single click. Then we're gonna get some extra displacement with displacement modifier. Then change the lighting with the sky texture. Change the position of the camera and then set up the camera with a realistic object and the right depth of field. This project we need to work in cycles for adaptive subdivisions and open up a shader editor to edit the shaders later on. And we're also gonna need middle mouse button to scroll, to open up the asset browser and use the Polyhaven assets from my other video. You can check out how to get these for free. So I'm scrolling and setting this to tiny to have a better overview. And now I can scroll through all these things. Today we're gonna work with textures. So click on textures and aerial because it's going to be a ground that we are going to create. And choose a nice texture to put on a plane. Set your viewport to rendered view so that you can see what texture you're going to place in, and check if you find it a nice texture. This is going to work for pretty much all the nice aerial textures. Just make sure that there's quite a bit of detail because that's going to look nicer. All of the Polyhaven assets are in 1K resolution, so you can change it here. It will make a difference. And you can also click this button to set the displacement. Just click on OK and you will automatically get the displacement. Now you could stop here and have something like this, but you could also move on and make something like this out of it. So there's a couple of steps how to do this. First one is adding a displace modifier to it. That gives it just a little bit more depth and makes it a bit more interesting. Another modifier, first a subdivision modifier with a couple of subdivisions and displacement modifier with as texture the displacement texture from our material. Now you can change these settings to whatever you like and make it a little bit more controllable. You can also change the scale of the displacement in the shader editor, so mess around with both of these displacement to get a nice result. I decided to start using the 4K texture for a bit more detail and a bit better displacement, so it had to load, and after that we'll go into the next step, which is changing the world lighting. So yours will be on default like this. So click on the yellow dot and getting a sky texture. Now change the rotation so that you get a lot of shadows. Because we have these displacements, it will show a lot of shadows and it will give a lot more detail and realism. So play around with that until you get a nice result. My footage got corrupted, so I'm using another texture, but the next step will be to find a nice location for your camera which you like and mess around with the scale of the texture. Be aware that the displacement will change, so you have to change the shading displacement and the displacement modifier to fit the new thing you made. Scale up the plane. You can also scale up the whole plane. Choose a realistic model either from Blender Kit or from Polyhaven. Choose a nice model, place it, rotate it, whatever. I like to turn on face snapping, so you can G and then control. So hold control while grabbing something that will snap it to the face, and then you can move it to your needs. Go into the camera, position it to a nice position, and also change the depth of field, and that way you can make it look realistic. You can change the distance or set a focus to an object, in this case the object you have placed in the scene, and then you can change the f-stops to make it more or less defocused around the object. So use that, don't overdo it. You can also make an empty object and set the focus to that so that you can play around with where the camera will focus to. That will be it for this video. I hope you liked it. Maybe if you liked it, consider liking the video and subscribing for more. In the future I plan on making the same video, so realistic scenes, but then nature scenes instead of scenes like we made in this video. So definitely stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching and maybe until next time. Bye!